Guess I shall lead the prayers. Is that okay? Yep. Okay, just 1 second. I'll share the screen. Sangye churang soki chodnam lai janchu badu dani kapsu ji dagi churnyengi pesanam gi drala penche sangye drupa shor. Sangye churang soki chodnam lai janchu badu dani kapsu ji dagi churnyengi pesanam gi drala penche sangye drupa shor. Sangye churang soki chodnam lai janchu badu dagni kapsuchi dagi chunyangi besanam gi drala penji sangye drupala shor. Gangi tose nye zong ne tawa tanche pangpe chi dampe chuni chenzen pa gutam de la chatse lo.
Yeah. Dang to Kasan, the Vajale say. Chanju Simbe Tompale Cataleso.
Langue re alemare.
Language you through.
So last time we stopped at the part where it's about taking the Bodhisattva vows, and at the point where the object, in other words, the person is discussed that's giving such vows.
Tatanda Dean Sare, Niba Caswada. Chanju Simbe Sadagis, Reva. Sawaderdo, Chanju Simbe Sadagis.
You said it.
Sutum Liwi Sung Cho Yi, Yanda Tinin Dembaye, Lama Sangle, Tombala Sede. Lama Sambule Tombala Gure, Sijarva. Tombala.
Re di inciketo la celio kawina. Di tutto. Ale, ja, Jangdu Simbe Satang to do. Yando Tini de Milasa. So we are at verse 22. So that Kontala Kita Tiga.
25 Aniba Lawe Judir, Lawe Judina. Tombe Chocal. Tombe Chocal like that, Dani Kanshan, like start Drima Lavna Digdo.
Okay, so I think actually it was verse, Geshe says verse 25. So I'm just, where is it now? You should sang about Dirwa. Tanda Shoktan Katsalarilla.
To redo no Lola.
A little.
Minduga.
Tombachuka Laket and Dani.
What they like it, Dani Kansha Tomlane. Tombo Bossy Ninja de Lama Sambu Chevra Chas.
So it's actually not verse 25, the one Geshe is reading. So I'm just looking, which one is it then? Okay, now I have it. Okay, it's verse 23. So it says, understand that a good spiritual teacher is one skilled in the vow ceremony, who lives by the vow and has the confidence and compassion to bestow it. Is it this one actually, or did we talk about this already?
Yeah, that does it got full option.
We got to Geshe last we got to pay verse 26, and you just started verse 26. And then the next week, we ended up going back to verse 21 or 22.
Okay.
But really, we'd got to verse 26, but you'd only just started it. That's what my notes say, anyway.
Moragi di Sintri Gabdua, and Dundaning Langa so Digi di Drotsare, Ta Sikche Inchi Sikche ina, Nishu Satrupala Lebre, Tenedudrangama de Langa so Yanka Ma Chomre, Nishu Sachipala Chomre.
Ah, yeah. And that day, that Kawales, the mom,
Dina Tatung Sumdrogre.
Sumrona de la Munse Jamphel Bess a day in Sale. Our answer Cubai. Our answer Cubai. Our answer.
O di chick drotsare, and di drotsare with jela dire.
All and go.
O di jema dire.
So what did it? Tajan Gomodan Changaro. So not dramatic login down. Gomonanga Changaro, Dunjina to do.
Ore.
Gomonanga Changaro, Zobation, you send Jachin to what Hanche Mundo Drontoners. Data core letter laws, Chicha. Nesum to some neither. Senatane Chado Ni. Hene son de Chanju down. Talk about the Mijao Sak. Kenijo, that changes in the Domba. Because Kenijo, then one and Geshe. Somebody church, dig down. Casa, somebody choba church. Dig down the pound cha. Sudu Domla, like Domba like Lakawe. Sanje just lover Charles. Dani knew it Tsugine. Chanju Tobra Medushi. Semjen Chigi Duini. Chime Casa, that Mutab never kicks chicken. Nanseme Sangi Mikobe, Shinda number Chanwacha, Mine Suma Chabata, Choju, Tado never Casa, number ne. Tagi Ludan Agile, Tamjadone Tabracha, Yigile and Tajade, Migilana Mijao, Jen. Tananya that there are Zawa to get Lobani, Zawa Kazan to get some Chochi to Sundu, right? Shorga Chiche, Shornije, Sunje. Shinga two, Shorga two. China Shorga two the Mahalo, the deed to that what in Matama, Manta Shaking.
Okay, so let's resume at verse 26 because this is where the vow, the commitment, the Bodhisattva commitment begins. So these are 6 verses that are pertaining to this part, and then comes the explanation in the commentary. So I shall read all 6. In the presence of the protectors, I arouse the intention to gain full enlightenment. I invite all beings as my guests and shall free them from cyclic existence. From this moment onwards, until I attain enlightenment, I shall not harbor harmful thoughts, anger, avarice, or envy. I shall cultivate pure conduct, give up wrongdoing and desire, and with joy in the vow of discipline, train myself to follow the Buddhas. I shall not be eager to reach enlightenment in the quickest way, but shall stay behind till the very end, for the sake of a single being. I shall purify limitless, inconceivable lands and remain in the 10 directions for all those who call my name. I shall purify all my bodily and verbal forms of activity, my mental activities too, I shall purify and do nothing that is non-virtuous.
I did that. Chitandrima Tama, Sig the Sebo Shivchama, Tija Coronal Sebo Shivchuanangua. Tainang as a drama, Tudiji Lava, you know. Pat Tomar Dene, Yala Tumbetona Dene, Soxa Tisha, said the Chego Yares, Chanju Semge. That Tomba the Sumar Chavala, Chanju Sem Sumar Chavala, Yala Tumbetone, Sok Saba, the Tivachan was at Chego Yare. Yala Tumba the Kares, not Chasewa Chide, Chasewa Yala, the Chicha, Chasewa the Lu, not Yigi Chasewa. Chuba Buala, Dana Shinre, that Chuba, Narazo and Gichuba Pia, Damadajota, Donna, Karsura, Chuba Bureau Webe. Gazim Shuala is soon a Taco Sunga Chuba, Taco Mosun with Chubada. then lana maybe choba dan the mango shojata choba binare ra what in the sultan and digere then digdwa lana yebe choba da lana maybe choba sa the sultan and digere yana chi choba nanga choba sang choba ta da te khona ni ge choba sene laia de tuzu malabja ta tuzu la moga je shugud la moga sangang ale de je shen moga je 다 디자 셔바드차 다 샤베 거수 류기 사베 디바 나게 사베 디바 이게 사베 디바 아스잖아 다 되게 샤고 제 되게 제래 자동다 나나즈 우리 알레 두스카라 샤 콘다 디다 류기 사베 나게 사바 되니 이게 사베 디바 살랍션 디기 그러와 다 제수 이런 제야 되니 되게 제수 이런 제야 돼 제수 이런 저 랑기 ngarne gewa saba te thamjala jesu yera tanda sa shimbadala jesu yera mawa sabra gyawale jesu yera ta shen tayeba sunabjena sanjeda janju sambara je inenda ko nyerang ge kansa je yimananda sala shubada mashuba suraje imbayena susu gyu suraje imbayena tedage ngarsabe gewa jesu yera tada sa shimbala jesu yera mawa sabra gyawale jesu yera दूसरे चेसु यनावा दूसरा सांता है बार अल्लाह तंबो दिखे दिखे शमु जिम्बारे
So although the verses are pretty self-explanatory, still let's look at them in brief and make a summary. So it all starts with the 7 branch prayer. This is essential so that then we can be a proper vessel to take and hold bodhicitta. So we start with the 7 branch prayer, which entails the 2 aspects of gathering the accumulations and purifying negativities. So the 7 branches then are first prostrations with body, speech, and mind with the 3 doors. Then the second one is making offerings. So there are so many kinds of offerings and there are so many categories of offerings that we can do. There can be so many there can be the material offerings, there can be the mentally visualized offerings, the ones that are owned, that are not owned, and so on and so forth. So in short, this includes any kind of offerings, which are, of course, always appropriate offerings, and therefore any kind of them. And then there is the 3rd branch, which is the purification of negativities. So, of course, this entails negativities that we have accumulated with the 3 doors, with body, speech, and mind. And here we confess and purify them. And then the 4th branch, that's the branch of rejoicement. So rejoicement, we rejoice in our own positive deeds and in those of others. So rejoicing in our own positive deeds that we have accumulated in the past. We rejoice also of the virtuous activities that we are accumulating in the present. And we also rejoice in all the positive deeds that we are going to carry out in the future. And then we also rejoice in the positive deeds of others, of whoever that is, of all countless beings, enlightened, not enlightened, already on the path, not yet on the path, whoever carries out any positive deeds. So of course, we rejoice in the positive activities of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, of Shravakas, Pratikas, Arhats, and so on. So beings who are enlightened or who are on the path. We rejoice in all the positive deeds that they have accumulated in the past, that they are accumulating at present, and that they will accumulate in the future. And then also we rejoice in the positive deeds of anyone who is not yet on the path or on the bhumis and stuff like that. And also here again, related to all the 3 times, whether it's the positivity of the past, positivity of the present, or anything positive that they will carry out in the future. That's all?
That ne chongor ko ya last yala tingena la ye chongor ko ya last dene ta chongor ko ya la sala yinde ta dere ta chosungro chi se dere ro na sangye da chen somba kana shoba yene ta te da thamjele de ngara zo mane dene karso da ch manaro chi se je da kuma chi dere ta donda de je ta dene 다 냥알에 민다바드는 소원대 바스라고. 다 냥알에 민다바 소원대 바스라도 드는 당 가레스라도 심정게 된 다 심정게 된 두번 자기 수로지 님바 있나요? 된다와데 심정게 된도 드는 냥알에 민다와다 슈로치 세들라야래. 와 냥알에 민다와 심정게 된데 주마셔바드네 두번 자네네 슈로지 스나 소와타야래. 다 된다데 되는 당 모아체들이 모양아들이 다 뒤숨도 사베게자 강한 여바 대단자들이 다 나라서 단다 옷을 가려서 단다를 차서는 전죽섬 교계 가서 전죽섬 수수결 전죽섬 계 된다는 모아체 봐. 다른 데 전죽섬 계 된다게 시기야래. 저는 전죽섬 계에 되는 모아체 봐. 전죽섬 계에 가려서라는 심정이 된 줘야 돼 연구야 봐. 자당 무엇을 전죽섬 계에 되는 모아체야지. 전죽섬은 다 가서다 마게 받게 줘서 깨받는 데는 냠바메 왔다 되는 거나 공도 패치도 되는 모아체. 다 도스가를 상담을 했어 봐.
And then the next branch is that one of exhortation, where we are supplicating or exhorting Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to turn the wheel of Dharma. Actually, anybody who is carrying out the benefit of sentient beings. So we are supplicating these noble individuals to stay and turn the wheel of Dharma, for assuring that the benefit of beings, it will not be interrupted. And then the next branch is the supplication to not enter into nirvana, which is also making sure that there will be continuous benefit in the activity for sentient beings. And then the last branch is the branch of dedication. And here we dedicate the roots of virtue of all 3 times. And we dedicate it here especially for the sake of bodhicitta, so that bodhicitta may arise in our mind stream where it has not arisen, that it may abide where it has already been generated, and that it may enhance and grow stronger where it has already been generated. So this is the particular dedication in this case, because we are focusing on generating bodhicitta, and once we have generated bodhicitta, then that will assure that we will be able to achieve the benefit of being. So therefore, and that's how it's done.
That's right. 당하나도 남준에 야나 dum바데 개시슈샤데 고야래. 나라도 소산 대전 제고야래. 소산 대전 제고데 야나 dum바데 시버시 개심 샤오래.
The 7 branch prayer and the 7 branches in general are actually very, very important, because it is so essential that we do accumulate the accumulations and that we purify negativities.
차사와라 샤샤바 이내야 루기 차사바 슬라도 루기 차사바 슬라도 나라도 페나지게 최대한 좀 꼬라스하게 용나 꼬라스하게 루기 차사바를 두고 야래.
그래서
꼬라시게 꼬라베나 꼬라 꺄탕바 저기 인사들 여러봐. 어디로 꼭 루기 차사바를 두고 야래.
네.
인지비지 루기 차사한테 깡자다 꿈자다 저 망고지 여러봐. 다 근데 대점 지구면 맞아. 남자 차서라는 가서 대하고 있는 나 소상다 꼬라사에 이제는 차사를 두고 야 루기 차사와. 나는 알아서 된 차세가 값수 있는다. 가리는 식 melam 카라카 등도 된 나는 차사를 두고 야. 다 얘기들이 샘sambo 컨디션, 그렇죠? 샘sam보 컨디션이 대탐자들이 이게 차사를 두고 야. 다 도수가 상당자로 와다 된다. 소소 하고도 계심도 와.
소소 카레?
셰버체도 계심도.
알레. And for example, they can be integrated in so many ways, because, for example, the branch of prostration, so prostration with the body, for example, could also be making koras, like doing 100 koras circumambulation and so on. That also counts as prostration. In that case, that would be the prostration with the body. And then any prayer that we recite, any word of Dharma or wishes that we make, aspiration prayers, they can perfectly belong to the branch of prostration. And in the same way, whenever we generate a kind mindset, then that's a mental prostration.
Kembe chamna dela kui chabare sungi chabare
Sungi kyapare?
kui chabare sungi chabare kemba yona kembe chamna yona kuge chamna dayore sungi chamna dayore
Kemba di kula kyagiyore, sunga kyagiyore.
아 chamgayore kemba de marda
Ani?
상계기 kembe sheja 탐절라 캬비였어 하고도 뒷고서
Hakoso.
시자 탐절라 kembe 캬비였네 kemba 여사들라 꾸야 여러 숭야 여레스
Biko tsugumidu. Kemba yosala kuyore kandres.
꾸메발라 kemba 여야 말아 봐
Kumina yomai.
상계 kemba 여야 말아 봐 상계 꾸메나 상계 kemba 여야 말아 봐 자산 상계 kembe 캬사들라 꾸게 캬고 그랬어 꾸야는 숭기 캬고 그랬다
Tadirik padiko tsugumidu.
구송토 원치 다돈다
Ngochik laso.
하고서
Ngochik lashana yaksavi mato yankem.
다 독서를 내가 나 상계기 캠베기 연대비 시작 탐절라 캬비야 심지어 탐절라 캬비야 빼나 이나 신지 상계 캠베 연대 캬비는 꾸이 연대 캬비야 숭기 연대야 캬비야 상계기 틀레기 캬비야 탐절라 다 나라서 대배 줘봐 이나 대박 나라서 상계 세대 간대지 임에도 야고 저로 차와 이나 다 니즈들이 사마 연구야래 하고대 비시 쳐비야래
Ngato ta sangi ki jilla trabu legire segureve.
말에 나라서 상계스 간대지 임바다 야고 하고 이나 소소 차세서 유디 남산처럼 하고 그러다 고선 고무선
Re.
다들 들라고 이래 답변은 들에 강라 몇번 쪼져봤어 강라 몇번 쪼져봐 대인dü나 투바 슉스라 그래 강라 몇번 쪼져 걔네도 몇번 가봐 제발 다가랑 투바 상계 주는데 요리 있을 거야
Re möba yona ta sangi diore segurwa. Tango jeva nangshi re ta.
제가 답변을 찾으나들 파버 토메게 주지 장고에 두면데 당고 주지 장고 두가 된 저부질 피대가나 저부디나 자원구지 파도 구여라 자주 추운요 자주 보는 그 문제는 주지 장고를 돼요. 제가 파버 토메 가와페나 다가나 치 연구야 답변을 찾아봐요. 되나 진짜 알아도 뭐봐 갈라 뭐봐 쪼셔와 될라스 투바 상계 존데데 예수 대인dü나 투바 슉스
Re hakoso.
디니즈를 하고서 제가 강을 넣어봐 소소가 넣어봐 강잖아 다른 상계 요래서 거야.
Re.
제가 그런 차세서 유스는 현다지 제가 로고 말했어. 다 그런 넣어봐 저는 그런 눈다가 요래서 차세서.
Re.
차세서다 처바피서다 참아 그런 눈다가 요래라고.
Re.
야야 다 어떻게
Okay, so again, when we do prostrations, then of course we do them with an object in mind. So that would be the three jewels, Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. So here it's really essential that we are very clear on the qualities of the three jewels to whom we are making these prostrations. So for example, the Buddha is the enlightened mind of the Buddha has the quality of being omniscient. So the wisdom of the Buddha pervades every single phenomenon. There is no field of knowledge, there is no object that is unknown to the Buddha. And the Buddha's body, speech, and mind, there are one and the same essence. And now, so we had a little discussion going back and forth because I didn't really quite get the logic about something here. But the essence of all of this is that when we learn the qualities, it becomes easy to have faith and devotion, trust in the three jewels, in the Buddha. And when we have faith and trust, then it is said that the moment you have devotion, you have trust and faith, the Buddha is there. You don't have to look for anywhere for the Buddha. The Buddha is there in front of you, is there right in your presence. You are in the presence of the Buddha. So that's the key point in here.
tuwa sange chunde de yes la bu yarwa mebe yudo chesan chuma bezo dagara yore shakwa chesan sange de gawase dan chaba susun dundu yore susuranga chigi na naranzo diba chene chigi gab desa yamare gabsa yamare sange de jamju sambala ngazo gortan tuku mare naranzo mishenda lang gortan tukurwa sange de jamju sambala gortan tuku mare ste sumasha tuku mare
Kontunga tsumike wa di tata hakutugira.
Mare, la buena yoga na sida yarba.
This means that to whichever direction you might prostrate with the body, there will always be the Buddha. The Buddha can be in the east, where if you prostrate to the east, can be in the west if you prostrate to the west, in the sky if you prostrate to the sky or whatever. So the Buddha can be anywhere. And the same goes with the object, the three jewels, when you make offerings. They are there where you make the offerings, in your presence. And the same goes when you do confess negativities, when you practice purification. And also the Buddha and Bodhisattvas are there right in front of you, with you. And to the point that actually we can't hide anything from them. You can't lie to them about anything. We can do it with many people. We can tell stories that are not true and they won't know. But to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, we can't.
제소이랑 초 가봐 저거이나 대려살 땅 뭐지 결혼기 든 다가랑 요레스 이게 저자 결혼살 땅 도바이나 너같이 제 도바이나 그봐
So if you are able to generate trust and devotion, then the objects of refuge, they are wherever you are. They are always in your presence, whether you do rejoicing practices or whatever you're doing, offerings, prostrations, whatever.
다견은 게 나라더니 탕가다 군다던데 여봐야나 어 다랑 저배 저매 탕가지도는데 저저 저는 많이 삼바치로 상계 탕지 되고 뭐 다라니 삼바치 소소게 다저 탕가지요 구바지요 군다지요서 세와자 멤버 다랑 덤벼고지요는 다랑 또 뭐서 뭐서고 뭐네 거 다가나 예선데 삼바케네 내가 차세 내가 쳐봐도 대도로 샤바체 대도로 제소이랑 제 참은 드스가체레스 right?
And if you have a tanka or a statue, maybe it's a Tara statue or a Buddha statue, then you can simply recall and imagine that this statue, this Tara or Buddha, whoever it is embodying all enlightened beings, that they are one and the same essence. And then you can make your prostrations towards that statue, towards that tanka. You can make your offerings towards the tanka, envisioning this as being the enlightened beings themselves. In that case, Tara embodying all the Buddhas, or the Buddha embodying all the enlightened beings. And you can make your branches, 7 branch prayer to them.
kirangi semge saye dagana semge shu saye dagana santane kadu dus kara santan go yare wa.
Yeah, and the same when you take refuge and you take refuge from them, then you generate bodhicitta from them, from that support, and so on and so forth.
All santan jare chedang anzo zo de karsa kala meba zo cheba tena 다 투바 상계 준비돼 쇼유 슬라윈도 가 탐제 삼 셈라 라레기도 봐. 최대 셈기 제야로 봐.
And therefore, if you visualize that, if you generate that trust, that devotion, then the Buddha is really there. And the Dharma, as you always hear, it is really a practice of the mind. So all Dharma practice actually depends on the mind.
아야 다도 쓰자. 다데 내게 되네. 어디 내게 다 초상 tip장되게 돼. 제네 되네. 땅 알아도 두상 땅고 야래. 다 가서 그래다. 남게 태도가 되네. 심제. 와당게 태도가 되네. 심제 남 되네. 동해게 나도 지상. 동해 나대봐 지상. 하고서 동해게 동해, 유의 동해. 차반 도지기 동해, 어디내게 동해게 나도 지상. 대다 동해 규당 쳐봤어. 동해 규스나 레다, 뉴모다. 뉴모 바자 시리다 쳐봐. 시리긴 집어다 쳐봐. 다 돈다. 어디내 규당 쳐봐라. 대화시 주나 찌마로 냠바쳤음 셈게. 대대지 대화 주나 컨트롤도 스타트메세 다 어디내게 삼바께 보여라. 동해에 가서 대다 상탄제 동해에 다다 동해에 다게 규단 잡아라 되는 차나 치마로 삼스마시게 로 닌지심 야고 세다 되는 거서.
So therefore we start with gathering the accumulations and purifying negativities in veils. And then we contemplate, we turn the mind towards the experience of suffering of all sentient beings, as who are limitless, like space, how vast space is. In the same way, they are limitless sentient beings. So we contemplate about the state of suffering that they are in, and then we think about, we start to generate the wish that's related to bodhicitta, and the wish that is an expression of great compassion. So may all these sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. So here again, we turn for a moment our awareness towards what are the causes of suffering. So these are the afflictions, these are the two veils of kleshas and of knowledge. And we really, from the depths of our heart, generate the wish, may they be free. Like they really have to get free from the suffering. This has to occur. How amazing would it be if all of them were free from the suffering and causes of suffering? So in this way, we get clear on the mindset of great compassion. And then we also generate loving kindness. So may them be free from suffering and endowed with supreme joy. That really has to occur. May that happen. How amazing if that would happen. And so we train gradually in both the mindsets of great compassion and loving kindness.
참바다 닌지 셈라 되는 연구여 봤어. 자세던 집에 길어더니 켄즈는 송고 연단다 고송투고 연다 상금 교보다 여봤다 소소가 가지 투도 결론을 제 샤야에 탑시제. 이 자와 용사대 가는 연구도 어떤 참세 셈라 되는 연구도 참바다 제외기 군도라는 연구도 있어. 로스가라 상라.
And we should also contemplate about, again, starting with bringing awareness towards the qualities of all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, the qualities of body, speech, and mind, which are often summarized in the 3 points of power, knowledge or wisdom, and love, and then reflect that actually all of these powers have their source in these 2 qualities of loving kindness and compassion that we just talked about.
Yeah, that chamse kundu lane. Member chanju ku semke, juba chanju ku semke. Na do chen gawa seje ki ki ku zong do yan de zu ka chung bu ya ba.
On the basis of loving kindness, compassion, love, that's how the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas generate bodhicitta of aspiration and then engage in the path of a bodhisattva with the bodhicitta of application. That's the foundation for all of that.
Da gawa seje la de ni yön de din de ji yong de. Gawa se na che de tu da chamba ninji chanju ku sem. Ya da be da wa ju la jie ne zu ska de chung wa de ma da ji ge. Na ra zu da gawa se na che ba sang ge ba ren chanju sem be go ma tong bu ya xie ba do zu de sem jing ni ju min ba la de hu gum de wa. Ha gu de de.
Re, semchen de so.
semje gymin ba ngarazo gymin ba mare de yene ngarazo le chamba da tsewa ngarazo tendo chanju ko sem ke bala kene konzo ge kuzu tu yende de chunguru bas
Re,
ngarazo yang tanda ngarazo sangye da chanju sembe jesu shumne ngarazo gyula yang 직 chamba ke ya ge tapshi ninji ke tapshi chanju sem ke tapshi chana ngarazo le yende daran yuan yore se tandu se sang dang gu yore.
all of these boundless and amazing qualities of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they have developed in them because they have generated and trained gradually in loving kindness, compassion, bodhicitta, and the pure view. And therefore, although they have actually focused on others, then they ended up having all these qualities. So because they were focusing on others, as they were prioritizing the benefit of others, then actually they ended up having all of these qualities and gaining all of these qualities. So the same goes for us. If we now train in bodhicitta, in compassion, loving kindness, and so on, then we too can get those qualities. We too will achieve them, actualize them.
And then that city is like Cindy Tamboda. Gombolang Changaro, Satatsi Rena Malo, Gombolang Changaro, Senate, Gawasan Chabanang, Dundu, Slavia. Then another Tanji Shabanachin, Gawasan Chebe, Kusun to go yonder, Kenza Nusung go yonder to the Kaya Ten and Chumarazan, Chambana Tsewa, the Chanju Sem Kundulane, Chumares. Yada Betawa, the Dala Ten and Chumares. Then they in by Hindu, Narayan. That is Chinju in by Indu, so we change short same gauges. Right? Gawaset two kilo Yava Nashi, Narangi, Ganta, Kandu Chitu and Bezach and the Chanju same gauges. Chanju same Gava chickens. Dawson Jatamjegeta, Tension Tugunis. Turn to where they are Contestant to win the Salade, Tanji Shabana Shinji. Simjing Dumeg Jimbatic the San Tanche, Dumeg Kudanship Trail Achida. There were Kartudan Demaji, what the region I get 20 chickens. Draw Tamjet, Drondonier, 다 대다 코알에 트로스 코알에 저거 저거니 어떻게 레기도 셈디게
And now looking at each individual stanza verse, so going back to verse 26, in the presence of the protectors, I arouse the intention to gain full enlightenment. I invite all beings as my guests and shall free them from cyclic existence. So here we take the protectors. These are to be understood as being Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. So we imagine them in front of us. And just as they have developed these amazing qualities of wisdom, power, love, and so on and so forth, all the enlightened qualities of body, speech, and mind, based on the training of loving kindness, compassion, bodhicitta, the pure view, because I am a follower of them, a student of them, I will also train in the same way my mind. I will generate bodhicitta for the sake of enlightenment until I achieve full enlightenment, just like they did. And therefore, to the best of my abilities, I shall to generate the mind of awakening. And then here comes also the in a way, the intention to, just as they did, to accomplish the benefit of beings. I will do it. I will accomplish the benefit of beings. And we here take several steps to build up the mindset of bodhicitta. So we recall the state of suffering in which sentient beings are, and then we commit to, I will free sentient beings from their suffering. I will endow them with joy. I will lead them into a state of joy. I will free them from samsara. So this is what I invite all beings as my guests means. And therefore here, these are steps for generating bodhicitta.
chanchu mata ke pato capsu chikini lagu yarwa chanchu mata ke pato capsu chikini sede goba suche do sama suche do capsu chikini besla ide o goba taye de senjengi 동에 규단 쳐발라 쳐야다 대와 타투 바지 용하게 쳐도 오 대처도 capsu chikini 있어 봐 경쟁지 상당히 되는 거지 겨우세던 쳐봐게 토기 토 깨당데 되네지 깨봐 나 신지 다 소소 깨 탑시잖아 그봐
This is just the same as when we do take refuge. When we take refuge until enlightenment, then we also say this. We also intend this, because what's the reason here for taking refuge until enlightenment? It is so that all sentient beings may be free from suffering and endowed with happiness, with final lasting happiness. So we try here to generate bodhicitta just like Buddhas and Bodhisattvas do and did.
내심 초에 셈니다스 지제 니바들 내심 초에 셈니다스 반지 로차다 세나단에 차도니 되는 손도 청주 바라 청주당 탑게 바도 미샤오 세상다 다 심징이 대와 두개니 동해세와 지게니 심징이 된도다 라네메 청주고 고마 타버 지게니 겨우서던 집에 투비게 연된데게 노다 두벌 저기니 라바 인도 맞아 근데지 캐네 여바 인도다 다 가인스나 되는 네 셴라다 네선다 소가 트레세 세나다 차도라 소바 되는 손데 전주 못하게 봐도 싸워 니는다 셈대다의 뻥이 있어요라 어?
So then verse 27, from this moment onwards until I attain enlightenment, I shall not harbor harmful thoughts, anger, avarice, or envy. So here, because we are making a commitment, the commitment of I will accomplish the benefit of beings. I will achieve unsurpassable enlightenment. I will actualize the enlightened qualities of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. So this then automatically means that I will also refrain from cultivating harmful mind states of mind, such as anger, avarice, greed, jealousy, and so on. I will give these up.
This one.
That's it.
That those kind of thing. Chiki landor get net. That tamje shebe deni shirabda. Kunu sambo chambada tsewada. Wada dindegi tone. Ta dibusangi yi koban drubar chiada. Josimjengi dina kaso wada. Shendri drubar chia nibu deskwata. Zundri chia dinya chanju matago bata chigis. Chanju koban matago bata chigis. Tanda dil mendo.
Tanda di jema dirbe.
Ah, the chamada mare, yan de kadu dagas la.
Ale naso. Tambudela langdor kine karis kumbe.
Nanzeta, Lambogan, ta kind tanda de kind kande logo slade, nesem da, true sem da, dinesena da, chado da, but someone in the chigimis la we are, that change chigimis la we are. Lambogan net to get the shame shiro. Gunung zewe samba, chamze samba. Da, dendegi shuk chambo dendegi yoba yenda da, zundu gitwane. 다 청주 주구야 semjen게 된 주구야 제가 삼바 년바 대 탐제 다 나네 개발 책임이었어 와
Yeah.
네
So because we are training in the knowledge and the wisdom that knows what to cultivate and to abandon, because we are training in the positive mental states, in the positive intentions, in loving kindness, compassion, and so forth, and we are putting effort into this for the sake of enlightenment, for the sake of the benefit of all beings. Therefore, this is verse saying, I will never give room to negative states of mind.
this one
I will not entertain them. That's all.
this is that the name the da caress la we are that ne ma chane samba cheber chashin la the samba cheber chashin la de kala we san dribu tartu be goban de druber chashin ro de that druber chebala ni tipachi am chashin tiberi de chi am chashin la de tibadi lunga yisungi tone tipachi am chashin ro sem nange ngarazo 차당 la soba tende gi tabe yese tapon chigin so da tende gi dine chanjusim be chujum lemba na shinji chujum di da sunwa la dine kawar che shirwa
That's all.
kawar che ne sange gi jesu la gi ni sarwa
And then verse 28, so I shall cultivate pure conduct for the sake, so this is intended again, of course, for the sake of the final achievement, for the final fruition, and I will give up wrongdoing. That means any negative action possible to carry out with body, speech, and mind. That means to completely give up anything related to desire and aversion, so of desire and aversion in any form, and then and with joy in the vow of discipline, train myself to follow the Buddhas. So I will persevere with joy, practice effortful with joy, joyfully, and hence train in following the path of the Buddhas, in following the example of the Buddhas.
That's right. That's some care for the neck outside chip jundu some care about us. Outside chip jundu dimbe, some care by Indita, some care the switch to some church or Nanga title the singing the turn to action to some care about us.
When we generate bodhicitta, we generate it in front of all the victors and the heirs, so all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. For who? For accomplishing this, the benefit of all countless sentient beings.
And then you do that quale majoa the dinner, that chawache. What? Qua Simja Qua Cham Dajara. What to get the quale majoa de Tanjata? Jawache, that's also the language on Rapsta. Chanjuk Sam Ken and Lagato Cares, Simjan to get the quale majoa the church at the rest.
So it is for the sake of liberating from cyclic existence all beings who are not yet liberated. So what is our main job once we have generated bodhicitta? Our job is to free those sentient beings who are not yet free, who still circle around lost in cyclic existence.
That's the name. That do that. Shibuji to get the Kachimbo Shibuji Tonyundi. Changes in the Chujum Sunga, the Kachimbo Shibuji Tonyundi, that Karchagura, Sladu. Then changes in the Chobatela, Labiela, then the Lelo Yunga Mari, Kilo the Lelo to Yunga Mari. Chawanation the Lelo to Yunga Mari. Shumbe Lelo to the Yunga Mari.
When we understand how important the conduct and discipline of a bodhisattva is, then actually there is no time for laziness in any form, because when we talk about laziness, there are different kinds, so mainly 3 kinds of laziness, and there is no room for any of them. One would be the laziness of discouragement. Oh, I can't do it, I'm not good enough, or something like that. The other kind of laziness is just really just a passiveness and lethargy, being really lazy about doing anything positive. And then the chik di kara reso lelo chik chazo shumpa nyempa ilupa tan. And then there is one form of laziness, which is dedicating ourselves to negative actions. So there is no room for any of them.
So
here, this is really focusing the aspect of joyful effort in this undertaking and following in the footsteps of the Buddha, of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas.
Semje chigi goyine dene chime munta never case order them tape semjing don't roll tape ko katsu dozu kasu gona kanye karache ba yena ta karache wena chigi sedere da donda wa
Ri kale kari nangi donglen chigins.
donle chigi sedere.
And then verse 27, 29, I shall not be eager to reach enlightenment in the quickest way, but shall stay behind till the very end for the sake of a single being. To summarize the meaning of this verse, it says that for the benefit of all beings, in order to accomplish that, I am willing to face any difficulty.
계속 좀 쉬어라이 송유와. 지시 나가네 봐도 좋아 지시 내겨봐. 대시 다는 내겨는 로동에 싸워 쉬었지. 네 겨울 무슨 게 가디니나다 도매대 쉬었는 거래. 지시 심전에 봐 대시도 나다 나신냥도 내내서 뭐. 나 대화전도 겨울 쉬었으면 나이 자게야 말. 나 심전냥도 내내 심전이 돼 줘봐라. 나 심전냥도 내버려 장녀스 거 봐. 심전 탐자 싸움 이게 봐도 나 다란냥도 내버려 쉬었어. 지스 나가네 봐 도와 지스 내죠. 디스 다는 내 결혼에 년 주에 동네에 싸우셨잖아. 어디는 시단다들 투게나 도스가 기겨요.
And this is just like this beautiful prayer in Bodhicharya Avatara by Shantideva, which His Holiness the Dalai Lama so often repeats and by which he abides. The verse that says, "Until space abides and sentient beings abide, may I also abide." So he is not saying, "Oh, may I get out of here and help you from somewhere else," but actually he's pledging and wishing that may I abide with sentient beings as long as there are sentient beings. And therefore by abiding in existence until there are sentient beings, may I release their suffering. So this is how we should cultivate this mindset.
다들 심수 된데 시켜는데 나랑도 뉴르도 상계 타버려 쇼세지로 뉴르도 상계 타버려 쇼스 너는 잘할 때야 말이야. 그래서 나 심지양도 먹냐도 장장내 쇼스 너무 되야 봐.
Tanda di kare koma som tes chik selami selacha.
소소 두 뉴원이도 상계 고마 타버려 쇼스지로 봐. 요구 쉬워지 상계 고마 탐도 상바지게 말다. 아, 선지양도 먹냐도 내버 쇼스 너무 되야 봐. 나 심지양도 먹겠네. 저 먹이로고 쳐야 돼. 그러나 그 뒤도 남아고도 나 심지양도 내네. 되는 비게 심지양도 된로야. 된면함 자인도 가봐. 상계기 고마들아 차바끼면서 줘. 나 전도 돈이 슈충을 매도 심지양이 된로야 돼. 돈이 슈쳐야다네. 돈다 삼바도 된대지 슈침불래 인도 저 상계 고마도 뉴도 타쳐요 봐. 얘는 그런 꾸는 차샤바에는 나 심지양도 먹냐도 내버 쇼서데 슈체 상바끼는 거 봐.
So this is the exact opposite of wishing may I quickly attain enlightenment. So actually here we are focusing on may I actually abide as long as there are sentient beings in cyclic existence so that I can help them. So in a way this is very beautiful because it shows not an attachment or clinging towards enlightenment, and instead prioritizing the benefit of sentient beings and the accomplishment of the benefit of beings, rather than focusing on reaching enlightenment. One focuses on accomplishing the benefit of others. And that's actually what will make the achievement of enlightenment quicker than if we would focus the other way around.
그러면은 자다들이 치매 몬타르 내버 기스라. 치매 몬타르 내버 기스. 나는 자다 되는데 이내 다 된다든 요구도 봐.
Shime mutak kalawuri.
치매 몬타르 내버서 심지 찌게 멀리 봐. 마저가 봐도 만 내버 기스고 그러게. 심지양도.
So by actually wishing, may I abide in cyclic existence to free sentient beings until there's not even a single one left. That's actually what makes the achievement of enlightenment become very quick.
맞아요. 다 근데 내가 가르치긴 됐어요. 다 근데 내가 전에 가르치긴 됐어요. 다 저거질래요.
When I 가르치긴 best.
다 근데 두즈를 못 되는 내가 전에다 저런 근데 내 너바드나 가르쳐 했어요. 진짜 진짜 말로 삼하게 그런 다 비게 내가 치긴 숨어요. 다 첼레게 무슨이로 다디 심주데 첼레게 무슨이로.
And there comes a question in the commentary, like, what kind of wish is that to wish to stay there forever?
다 근데 인도다 장, 다 장가래 있는다 체메레스와 장 체메지 연대인 다 상계 미켜받은 데는 상계의 신 상계의 고마야와 오다 상계의 신 다게 남 되네 좋아다 가서 체모소 끼는 나버 창을자신스 오다 상계의 신 신창바스 하고서 상계의 연대장바 상계의 신장바 되네 mellam 형소 장바세들의 연구였다.
Karelatene dit semegi mellam dilatene.
되네. 심장의 두야 되네 군무들 되네. 어딘데 신장바되게 연구였다.
So through that intention, that is actually boundless. It's like a boundless courage that's being cultivated here. Through that, actually, what happens is that one trains in there. If you're familiar with this term, like purifying or preparing the Buddha fields, the enlightened realms, then training in the enlightened qualities and training in aspirations. So this is what goes along with such a profound intention.
제가 심지야 되다. 심정이 더 가서 심정 통하다. 내 심정이 내다 강의 뭐데 터바다. 템버 쳐바다. 다 소소거와 통하다 터바다 템바스라 그러와 다 통도 되겠어. 어딘데 그 통하는 심정 납다는 펜 따버는 되봐. 펜도 두버는 되봐. 어? 펜도 두버는 되봐데. 다도 쉬우지다 계심 차되게.
Yine kare semjiki netang thongwa thang chemba di kane chue songdi.
제가 상기기 신 다버치고 신 종마치고
Ale sangnegi shing jangwala semjiki netang thonggore chengore.
쟁고래 태고래 상고래 쟁고 따오라 mellam 장고 mellam 조고야 된다.
In order to train and prepare the enlightened realms, train in the enlightened qualities and in enlightened aspirations, it's essential that one encounters, recalls, and contemplates and learns about the states in which sentient beings are in. And that's also what will generate and strengthen even more the wish to actually be of benefit to them, to help them. That's what.
나도 상기기 신 종아나 신시 심정이 규용서 잡아 심정 용서 민버 잡아 심정 마미바 대탄제 용서 민버 잡아 마조와 대탄제 저버 잡아 어디네 다 투기고 다 투게다 되네로
Mare di kare chetu chaso semchingi gyumi but ale di chetu mellam jangpatan dinde gore ro.
디르마 깔려있으면 셈이 쌈기 미켜졌어. 셈이 쌈기 미켜져 신다 넘버 장을 차스라서 민내 수모를 쳐봐도 초주다도 넘버 네스라서 얘네 다게 류다 나게 레 탐제단에 따버 차스 이게 레게 따버 차스 미게 레 어디 지제데
Ale tikche chemedi ya ningi thongmas.
지제 된다 계시고 얘가 지제 지리잡지 누구야
Ale ngedi komasonda. So actually this was already the explanation of the following verses that did not get through clearly to me. So verse 30, I shall purify limitless inconceivable lands and remain in the 10 directions for all those who call my name. I shall purify all my bodily and verbal forms of activity, my mental activities too. I shall purify and do nothing that is non-virtuous. So all of these deeds that are of purification and so on and the ones that were just mentioned before, training in the qualities and so on. So they are essentially essential and important so that one will be endowed with the capacities to ripen, purify, and free the mind stream of sentient beings. Right?
다들 네 장바다 주 장바스라 그래. 와. 네 심정의 신장바. 상계기 단동 상계기 신장바. 주 심정의 장바라. 견의 장바.
Tadi in chu countries 장바래.
제가 주 심정의 다 심정 가서래. 주 심정의 대바 용서 장 다해도 된다라 네 계장냐 셔서.
네.
이러면 될라고다. 민네.
알레 타디니 기체도레다 콘 누파디 치케고와.
어디.
Nupa kieta shegura chik no janga chik de semchen la pento benupa di pelwa. So this is basically, in short, speaking about two important points. One is the purification and preparation of the container. So the container meaning the pure lands, the pure enlightened realms, and then also sentient beings, so that to the so-called contain, so to purify, to gain the power, the ability to then really being able to benefit beings, to purify the mind stream, the negativities of sentient beings and so on.
나도나 말아서 가래슬라데 나라서 따고 건디지 잡고 열슬라데 타고 신도 점주들라 야고 저 용토에가 답지 직제 참바데 니지 야고 용토에 답시지 전주 셈께토에 답시 직제 다 되는지 제네 딱 가르쳐 그랬어 도도 수드샤나 류나 이송지 토네 디버지 미샤시 다 가르쳐야 돼. 디버치야 메시아세 디버치야 마셔든 드라마 간사 다 갈라소스나 드라마 망고 쇼질라소 되네 디가더라 되네 얘기 디바다 콘로당 되네 너섬다 tro선다 다 망고 쇼게 셔소 되게 참아 다 참아 니는 미자세 다 전주고 셈 송예 그 된다라 레로 큐는 뭐 준주 규면 셔봐 자기 인세지 모두 그래 송도아 So
if we summarize all these, the meaning of all these verses that we just looked at, then it starts with taking Mahayana refuge, generating loving kindness and compassion and bodhicitta, and also then committing to completely refraining from all negative actions of body, speech, and mind, such as we have seen anger was mentioned, and harmful thoughts, jealousy, and so on. And then also to commit to joyful effort, to a diligent practice in this path, and therefore not to succumb to laziness in any form.
Can I ask a question?
This one.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm just wondering about this verses 30 and 31. It seems he's saying that you want to become a Buddha, create a pure land, and then you invite all sentient beings there. Is that right? I mean, is that like the best option? If there was, of all the options, that would be the best one. Sentient beings would go to a pure land that you created for them.
Di ko takta ko lendoe tanda tsawa tamani dezo shin takbar chagi inse tadi karecheture sena nge shin dinre jansona tene semchen dezo pala drang tang nero tene di la konzone chogres di yangna ro rabina dinre res.
What are the
Yes, that's yeah.
다 두상당 알레 간이스나 다 간이스나 먼저 셰당 셈 삼베토네 셴라 셰당 셈 셴라 너심 딘데기 리 답해 차도 먼저 다셈 투도야 여러봐 我等这个里的早你呢，马上去的。等这上班去去，开心不去，说俺子打我家伙什么呢？等着人，是的了。等那俺家当查到了说的，等这个等那生早呢马上去去，他情绪生的东北松云这个呢，俺这开心不都是晓得有嘞。生了别人吃上等这恰当你个生的送土吧，有呢，情绪生的东北样他把送给他吃啥嘞？
恰当你不，
做恰当你的恰用过来。恰当你个什么的送土呀，他不是结果呀嘞。等于送土什么？真是个最重要的吧，送土个要大。
아니 거기 소야텔라 칸데 스트레고데 담다 케기 소야텔.
알레 도스 찌글라 티슬라다.
Ale, okay. So Geshe says, yeah, that's right. And so one important point that's being emphasized here is really how important it is that we do not cultivate anything that is harmful or negative. In particular, anything related to attachment and aversion, but then also pride and jealousy and so on and so forth. So once we have taken the Bodhisattva vows, that is really important to focus upon. And in short, one can really summarize all of this in being very heedful around attachment and aversion. Kunzin gisem tang troesem. So just because this is very important, there are these 4 negative states of mind that are the biggest obstacles to bodhicitta. So which ones are they? They are anger, or we could say hatred, or we could say aggression. In the Tibetan term shidang, everything is included. So anger, aggression, hate. And then the next one is revenge. So revenge and also anger, again, they come together, revenge and anger. And then the third one is greed. Greed means lacking the ability of being generous with others in any form. That's greed. And then the fourth one is jealousy. Jealousy means not being able to bear when others have something, when others have some form of abundance.
Yes, sir.
That's it. These are the main causes for negative actions. So therefore, these are really big obstacles towards bodhicitta, and important to know.
Simjing don't do it, that do Katsu never checking in such a digital.
ngarangi katsunegi is.
Never checking is. What guess is show like she's an animal watches in your didn't draw the myself show soon. Simjing don't do it, but Katsu never checking in such a
And then another important point is really this commitment, like Shantideva, as we just heard before, the commitment to abide for as long as sentient beings abide, for as long as there are sentient beings in samsara, may I abide and benefit them.
That did you know that Karajanata Simjing Sange Gidini Kasoda Shin Seba, Trame Gidini Sange Shin Yonso Changba Seti Yondeki Yoreswa.
And then the next point is this, the purifying and preparing of the limitless enlightened field, Buddha fields.
That Sangi, that another Sosugi Lunga Yi Sungi Kende Chanyundu. Another Sosurang is Lunga Yi Sungi Kende Chanyundu, Rani Sangi, the Sangi Shindi Yons Chanyundu, that another.
So this is something that naturally comes along when we purify the negativities from body, speech, and mind.
Narazo Kayasana Sangi Shinsi Shandachi Yabache, Della Motorista number down to dry it, the Tineg now the Machache. Sangi Shinchang Suna Narazo Gugi Gendiga the Machamachana, Rain Sankedru, or Sankedru, Shinchang was Taran.
So this is not something, like we are drawing a map and then there's this field here and that field there, and then you can either take a plane or go by car to my Buddha field that I've prepared for you. That's not how it works. It is like this: when we purify our negativities, then at some point we will be a fully enlightened being, and together with this full enlightenment come these Buddha fields. They go hand in hand. Tadishira kuma semchen tongwa tang di nyamdula.
Kirang kunu dena ta kandishi yoga ta simjeng de tugu yare simjeng de kandishi tugu imbe tongwa senjeng da tebe senjeng da chende senjeng de ga de tugu yarwa
In a semchen töba kandis töba.
Jamine min de ga shi yare se de töba
Ale
tongmo song tongge min do da töba mi jan de shi yare de na so sha tundu de ga de yare 대 챈바 터바 통와 무소 통와 마토나의 터바 데레데레 요아레스
tadi
넘버 챈바 뭐들이 계시겨라
di kare chetu resena ngatu kunong yarge droya tang peya tang chetu. And in order then to enhance our intention and our motivation to make it grow stronger, because we want to accomplish the benefit of beings, but how do we do that? That's really by getting closer to them in a way. There are mentioned the aspect of seeing, by seeing beings, or by hearing about them. For example, somebody tells me, oh, in Germany, the people are like this, the people are like that, and there are those and those animals, those and those beings there. And then also through recalling and remembering and through contemplating.
The
wish to benefit them is generated through that.
Then 상계의 신 가서보다 대다를 펜타번 되네 대다 상계의 신도 봐 장버는 돼 봐. 깨워도 돼 봐야나.
Srila Rinpoche.
대머도 돼 봐.
And that will then lead to the wish to lead these beings to our pure Buddha lands.
심정이 껴되게 용서 장버는 돼 봐. 심정이 껴장 소들다.
And the wish to purify them completely from the obscurations.
들어있는 심정이 뇌대양 뇌 용서 장에 상기의 신간나 신감나 신차에 교련나 신차에 주그 심정되게 다네 상계나 신차 어디에 다 고는 삼바도스가 깨고요.
Inen tanda shingla drempa tang nö jang bani kagachasoe.
상계 신뢰 양도스가 잼버셔 봐서 상담을 직제. 다스 너는 심정이 강 심정이 신감 되게 되게 심정이 신감 되게 마 장인데 코에 껴는데 장인데 코에 껴면 봐 차스는 가르쳐 그래. 상계 신감 차로 그러 봐.
네.
되나 시죠. 코에 내게 껴장 봐. 내게 지딩게 껴장 봐. 되나 쭉 심정이 껴장 봐. 어디서 상담 거야. 운동 삼바께 가르치고 봐.
And then also the wish will arise to purify the places where sentient beings are. So there's one wish is to lead them towards a pure land, and the other one is to actually purify where they are at the moment. Because by purifying their mind stream, then what happens? If all sentient beings purify the mind stream, then the place becomes a pure land in itself. So that's what is meant. So therefore there is this training in all of these various aspects, the motivation and the intention, the aspirations and wishes have all these various levels.
Atisha, that do something that dona kosumgi, lunga yesumgi, dona da kosumgi da chawa kanga imba ine chawa tetanje digbe choso naya midowachi. 펜바 버시 르가 예송기 자와 탐제 펜바 버시 쇼서 땅고야 됐어.
In short, so it's really important to focus on avoiding, refraining from anything negative, any form of negative action, and with body, speech, and mind, and to utilize these three doors only for exerting benefit.
내가 간데 숨도서 다기 르다 나기 다기 다는 르다 나기 레 나바 탐제도 동에 다버 차시 깽게 탐제게 다버 치기 이길래경 다 동에 다버 치기 동에 답에 깽 탐제게 다버 치기 너 되나 숨었다 너 되나 고송기 미지웨 레넘스 라우도가 통상
네네.
고송기 미지웨 레 나마 탄제도다 전주 못하게 봐도다 레녀바데 짜오니는 미자오 신의 심기고 하다.
So this is the last verse, right? Verse 31. I shall purify all my bodily and verbal forms of activity. So I will purify any negativity of body and speech, and then my mental activities too I shall purify and do nothing that is non-virtuous. So until I realize full enlightenment, I will never engage in non-virtuous actions.
그래서 다 대주들샤 진짜로 되나도와 랑게 류가 셈게 남다 교스 시드 다다 제소 랑게
That's all.
나 셈게 남다 교스 죽심 더니 동바 라네베스 동바 라네베 Children lava sumla, lay lamna. Children lava sumla, guichering guru so there.
And then verse 32, when those observing the vow of the active altruistic intention have trained well in the 3 forms of discipline, they respect for these 3 forms of discipline grows, which causes purity of body, speech, and mind. This points out the necessity of training in discipline.
전주 따나 니마레레 나 튼루 nenjora 저등메기나 대내 가서 전주스면 동발래 전주스면 동발래는 알아서 동발 라네다 수수기라다 전주스면 동발 렘바 인도도 수수기라다 전주스면 추름도 요아래 제가 추름도 요바 인도다 다 전주스면 추르들라 내네 내겐게 강사디 되니 다 가래스나 추름 가 전주스면 다 추름라 랍고 그래서 왔다.
For example, if we have one meditation session a day, then in that meditation session, we take the Bodhisattva vow. So then we are recipients of the Bodhisattva discipline or way of conduct. And therefore, then we have to train in that form of conduct.
나라서 류나 이스라와 숨 다들 예배 망고 받쳐야지 경계 망고 받 탑시셔야지 경계 다버 쳐야지 심전 셴라다 초도 가서다 펜도 약식이 주투야게 쳐도 펜바 자신부 주투야 펜도 약식이 주투야게 쳐도 나라서 류가 이송은 경계 짜네 마고 받쳐버려.
We have to try, therefore, not to stain our body, speech, and mind with anything negative. We have also to try to purify anything negative present. And only accomplish what's beneficial for sentient beings. And therefore, these two, they kind of support each other. So for enhancing the benefit of others, for accomplishing what's beneficial, most beneficial for others, we need to try to not stain our body, speech, and mind with negativities.
출당 tumba지 라바이나 출출 슬라도 출출 시잖아 출다 tumba지 출다 tum부 팀지 송아 있는 소다 나 가르용 그래 출다 tum부 팀지 송아 있나 류나 이 송가게 출다 tum부 팀지 송아 있나 출다 tum부 송 팀지 송 슬라나 나 가르용다 류나 이 송게 쥐바 탐지 야시 제 상당을 봐 두자 초 자원에 만들어 상을 시당을 봐
네. What is the meaning of discipline, actually? Discipline that sometimes is also translated as moral ethics, or in Sanskrit as shila. So that actually means, how to translate that in English? It's being in accord or acting in accordance with the code of ethics, for example, we could say, or just acting in accordance, acting accordingly, according to a certain code of ethics and so on and so forth. So that means, very easily said, that we focus, that we use our 3 doors in the best possible way. and that we do not let our 3 doors go towards any negative direction.
다 데라 남산랍테 곰고레스. 곰바치고레스. 곰시차고레스.
And this is something that we need to train in. This is a process of familiarization, of creating a new habit.
곰시차나 늘 수준라 체레스 체투고레스. 곰시 마차나 수준라 체레 체투고 말레스.
제투 말이스?
제레서 야부송투고 말레스. 와. 수준라 다고 자투고 말레스. 곰시차나 다고 자투고레스.
Yeah, and therefore to create a new habit is essential in order to cultivate discipline. Without that, it's actually impossible.
세상 안아서 룽아이 송의 껴 다바스 룽아이 송의 껴 다바스 룽아이 송의 껴 간데 용의 여발라 제바치에 맞으나 껴 다토에 제요 말에.
Because we are talking about purifying the negativities, but if we do not notice when negativities arise, then we can't refrain from them. So we need to get familiarized with that as well first.
리치기 소소소소 양다바 인샤샤 현다의 쩐쩐지 인샤샤 근데 살다데바 얘는 근데 껴 다토에 제요 말까.
Sometimes, we think, oh, this is just who I am. I can't do anything about it. What can I do? This is me. I was born like this. Then it would be very hard to change anything.
맞으세요. 자나 경계 막고 봤어. 경계 막고 봤어라. 경 용기도 민도. 내 가르치기도 민도. 내 가르섬기도 민도. 내 가르치기도 민도. 두 사람 따져치고요. 맞어. 경 다버셔라.
In order to therefore purify negativities, we need to be aware, is a negativity actually occurring? Is it already in the process of acting out? What am I thinking? What am I doing in this moment?
그러나 가서 들려도 그러나 미카셰 또 수구처든 쇼 제겐지 미디 고 칼라 가레스게도 쇼게네 닝고네 건다 칼라 따제 쉬우지 제치 그 수구기 가수로 즉 리제체다 가라 얘네 라고 쉬우지 제바치기요 봐.
네.
그 쉬우지 제바치나 되는 거배 베나 저기 가서 교사 시불랭이 도저다 폴스 시부징에도다 디미게 되네 가서 다들여 추게냐 도저다 수간데도 그거 다스 차게 말어 봐.
Just like somebody who is very occupied with health, taking care of one's health, that such a person is constantly checking, okay, what am I eating? How many grams of this, of that? How many proteins? How was this healthy, or is this going to be healthy? Is this unhealthy? They're constantly busy with that, and they are maybe focusing, okay, how much exercise did I do today? Okay, counting the steps on the watch, or how many minutes of yoga did I do, and so on and so forth. Or look at people who are professional sportsmen, football players, or swimmers. It's not that they were born like that.
와야다 먼저 대 단다 네 참어서 단다치 랑기 영아 semge namba 교 족신 단이 동바 라네베 수준 라바송라 레람나 수준 라바송라 구시를 두르선데 참어서 단다
로차레.
로차레 로차테 이내야 참어서 단다 참아 가수라 셰 참어
아소 야야 리치 참어. 네.
두주 조송
Nita locha indicate hola di tama.
이내야 제마 네 양자 라고 네 참어서 만나
Okay. So Geshe didn't finish to explain verse 32. So the next time we will resume with verse 32. And the time is over for today. Yeah.
Thank you, Geshe. Thank you, Yulika. I'll just share my screen for the prayers. Janchu Semcho Rinpoche, Maki Panam Keguchi, Kiawanya Pame Payang, Kone Gondu Pewa Shok, Tony Tawa Rinpoche, Maki Panam Keguchi, Kiawanya Pame Payang, Kone Gondu Pewa Shok, Gangri Dawe Koe Jinkandi, Pendande Wa Malu Jumene, Genrezi Guan Tenzin Gatsui, Rapesite Badu Tenguji, Tutsu Zhangjin Zhanggen Gewe, Tenzin Kompelwe Kunzu Doboise, Chosun Kudwe Leben Tutu, Ada so du ju gun du job ten. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Lika.